discover a heartbreaking but rarely mentioned detail in Harry Potter. That night, Snape raised his wand and personally ended Dumbledore's life.
Avada Kedavra.
In the instant the spell was cast, and the green light of Avada Kedavra unexpectedly turned blue. This was actually not a mistake by the special effects team. Rather, it was a deliberate foreshadowing buried in the film and revealing the deepest layer of Snape's character. However, to truly understand this beam of blue light, the story must start from the very beginning. When Dumbledore knew he would not live much longer, and he sought out Snape and asked him to end it all. He asked Snape to kill him so that Voldemort would turn to trust him instead. Next came the well-known unbreakable vow. Snape covered for Malfoy, and meaning if Malfoy could not kill Dumbledore, he must complete the task for him. In other words, Dumbledore asked Snape to kill him not just for his own sake, but also to protect Malfoy's soul. But for Snape, and this was no easy task. Do not forget that Dumbledore was the one who accepted him, trusted him, and gave him a second chance. And for such a person to raise his wand and point it at his only reliance and mentor was not just a mission, it was more like a cruel destiny. The time came to that night at the Astronomy Tower, and the night when the wind howled and the tension was so thick it stopped your breath. Snape pushed open the door, and Dumbledore stood weakly by the edge of the tower, completely enveloped in darkness. He looked up and saw Snape, and the momentary peace in his eyes was not fear, but confirmation. Snape raised his wand, his expression as cold as cast iron, but you could see the trembling in the depths of his eyes. Then, and the spell that broke the hearts of fans worldwide fell.
Avada Kedavra.
And here comes the key point we are discussing today. According to the law, Avada Kedavra should be a blinding beam of green light, but when Snape's curse hit Dumbledore, and the light in that instant was bluish, it was not a vibrant green or a bright green, but a cold, somewhat sorrowful blue. You must understand that in the setting of Harry Potter, and the colours of different spells actually contain a bit of emotion and intent. Although the original books did not write this theory out systematically, the presentation of colours in the movies is highly consistent. And, for example, Expelliarmus is generally red. As long as the caster's heart is resolute enough and their purpose clear enough, that red light will be stable, pure, and unwavering. Similarly, and for the Avada Kedavra curse to be fully unleashed, there must be a resolute killing intent. It is not the kind of spell that succeeds just by saying it casually, and it requires caster to genuinely want the other person dead in their heart, and only then will that green light be ruthless, accurate, and pure enough to shine. But what about Snape? His situation was exactly the opposite. And he had to kill Dumbledore, but he had no killing intent in his heart. There was no hatred, no anger, no malice. All he had was a mission, a promise, and a helplessness that crushed him to the point of breathlessness. Therefore, and you will see that Snape's Avada Kedavra was not pure green, but rather a blue tinged with hesitation, sorrow, and reluctance. And it was as if the spell itself could feel that this person did not want to kill the one standing before him. In other words, Snape did indeed unleash the lethal curse, but he could not unleash it in its purest state. And this is why the colour leaned towards a distorted, cold blue. What does this show? It shows that what he did was the necessity demanded by Dumbledore, not the willingness desired by his own heart. And the film did not explain why the spell turned blue, but J.K. Rowling provided a very important clue. All unforgivable curses require intent, especially Avada Kedavra. And you must genuinely want the other person dead for it to be cast steadily and accurately. But what was in Snape's heart in that moment? It was not hatred, not killing intent, not I want to kill you. On the contrary, and it was a person who knew he had to act, yet from the bottom of his heart did not want to lose the other person. This tearing emotion made the spell itself hesitate, and thus what you saw was not a blinding green, but a beam of blue light carrying coldness, pain, and helplessness. Simply put, the casting strength was enough to kill, but the intent was not dark enough. The mission had to be completed, but the emotions could not be severed. The spell succeeded, but it was no longer the most pure curse of death. This is why the colour shifted from green toward a colder, more restrained, and more reluctant blue. And it also explains a simple fact. Snape is not Voldemort. He would not kill with excitement or pleasure. That strike was the most painful, heaviest, and most unavoidable choice of his life. And the blue light is the emotional projection of, I have to kill you, but I will never want to kill you.